headed for the shore. You left me drowning in my tears. And you won't save me anymore. You give me one more chance, girl. I'll be there for you. These 5 more times ready. Would you please? I wanna be the air.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:32. It is February 18th. Hope everyone's feeling well. It's Wednesday. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com and founder of Red Dog Mindset. I apologize for the fact that Twitter does not repost the on-demand link, but for those of you who are intimate to the Red Dog, you will get it right afterwards. But anyway, here we are. Came in yesterday. I was definitely a little neutral to negative. I was thinking, hey, maybe we get some range resolution, but I had multiple plans trying to figure out what's next. If you look here at the chart of the SPYs, what do we talk about? This is 676. This is 675. So this 675, 676 is in order to get down to 671. What do you have to break? 675, 676. Instead, what happened? Went down there, couldn't break. And then Friday's low is 677.52. So if you want to be exact, 667.52 was reclaimed. And what happens? That is what you call the red dog reversal buy. You could have bought there, put your stop in at the low, and made yourself, I don't know, 4 or 5 points in the SPYs. Tactically, for cash flow, trading, you could have done 3 things. You could have, you could have added to your shorts and say, I'm going to be right at some point, and lost a lot. And now you're coming in today like, my goodness, we're up 3 points in the SPYs. You could have, covered some shorts and taken a little bit of a loss and say, hey, we didn't break. And then if you were really good, you could have, bought 677.52, or maybe even here. This is 680.30 for a little bit of relief. Okay, now here we are. SPYs are up 277. Listen, I was very tactical. I'm not like cajones to the wall long. All I did yesterday is put on a little bit of risk. So this is the alpha team. Someone's like, how do you see the alpha team? What's the alpha team? Well, it's, a few hundred professional traders from around the world, usually about 500 by 9:30, and they get to see my position. So I had none of these yesterday. And then at some point throughout the day, I put on some SPYs, I put on some Amazon, some MBIS, and some iron, besides having some leftover options. And now I am trimming into this. I've already just trimmed some SPYs up 3. I trimmed a little Amazon up 3. So it gives me a head start, but at least I feel good that I adjusted. And now we see, what's next here. What happens? Will early strength be sold or not? 685.60. It's not really a level. This is it. This spot here. This is like 688. This is 689, and this high here is 686.28, which it's not above. So you definitely trim a little bit into strength, and who knows? Maybe it opens up and goes lower, and then that's another lower high. But that's today. The question is, what did you do yesterday? Same thing with the Qs. Qs, were weaker. The Qs were at the bottom end of the range. But what did the Qs do? The Qs wound up reclaiming 594.76, made a low, came above it, reclaimed 596.42. Yes, I will be precise for you guys, 596.42, and gave you a little push. And now what? The Qs right now are up 280. Not a huge move, but hey, tactical cash flow. Tactical cash flow helps, pays the bills, and makes your mind feel happier. So anyway, so that's what you could have done there. Now, that doesn't mean you're out of the woods. It doesn't mean we're going back to all-time highs. It means if you adjusted yesterday with the right plan, that hopefully you got here. Because yesterday in the 630 club, I'm like, these are the areas. Do we get range resolution? I'm like, range resolution would be great. Didn't happen. Instead, it was a different trade. It was hold the bottom end of the range, reclaim Friday's low, perhaps get a little bit long, or at least cover your shorts. And now if you covered your shorts here, hey, maybe you could put a little bit back on there. There is a lot of resistance ahead. So it's not like it's going to be clear sailing here. You have 606.48, which it's not even, it's not even above that. So what'd you miss? It's just a trade in life. Why did I buy Amazon? Someone had said. Amazon gave you a little red dog reversal also. Hey, it happens in a name too, right? 197.28 was the low. Where'd it get down to? 196, reclaimed 197.28 and closed pretty well. And I remember yesterday in the 630 club, I'm like, hey guys, SPYs are down, I think 2 points, and Amazon was up or down 20 cents. So early morning, it showed you a little relative strength to give you some clues. Hey, maybe, there's a trade here. Doesn't mean it's going back to the highs. Doesn't mean it's coming back to here. Doesn't mean it's even filling the post earnings gap. All it means is, hey, sellers got a little exhausted and you had a nice little move. And, and I'm long some Amazon. I actually just trimmed some. So if you want to see how the virtual trade flow works, so people can watch my real trades, not fake trades, I came in long Amazon and I just sold some at 625. Why did I sell some at 625? Because why not? It's up 3 points at 204. So it's like a 4 or 5 point trade. So sell some and hold some just in case. That's, trim and trail, tier system, all the things that I've been preaching for 20 something plus years. But anyway, so if you're on the virtual trading floor, you got to see that live. And actually, I made it a power play yesterday. So, hopefully those who, subscribe to power plays, they were able to get along. And I got to give Mike some kudos because he reached out. I was like, hey, I just saw you buy Amazon. First time in a while. Why don't we make it a power play? I'm like, okay, it's worth a trade. I was going to do NVIDIA also, but I didn't, unfortunately. NVIDIA was tricky too. NVIDIA, was weaker earlier on. And then what did it do? It did a red dog reversal also. Went below 180, 159, stopped a lot of people out, right? What was this low here? 180, 159, went as low as 179, made a higher low, and came back up. Closed pretty strong, was strong all day. So NVIDIA also gave you a red dog reversal. So did Amazon, 2 different patterns, 2 different sectors. And now if you took home NVIDIA, because you trade the semis instead of Amazon, or both, you're up 3. Now it's at 188.30. So both of these were really nice take-homes. Both of these did not look like a take-home 24 hours ago at this time, but the trade changed as the day developed. So now what? It's above this. There's a whole zone here. It'll be interesting to see how much of today's early strength holds. I also bought some NBIS. Why? Because this traded well. He had 2 big days, held in there. It's going sideways. I might even add to it if it gets above 100, if the market wants to hold in. And I took a little iron just because iron's been really good. This was more like an anticipation trade. Wasn't great, but I figured, hey, put a little low into the 200-day, went sideways. It's worth a trade. So, I did that. So we also said, could the memory names remain special? And some of my friends actually were selling premium in SanDisk and MU. I'm like, you guys are a little crazy. And then midday when things rallied and it didn't, I'm like, wow, SanDisk is a little weaker. First time I've seen a little character change in SanDisk. And then, so look at SanDisk. Did SanDisk close like Amazon on the highs? Did it close like NVIDIA on the highs? It closed on the lows. And usually Amazon, SanDisk is stronger. So look at this candle, right? Look at this candle for it closed on the lows. Amazon, I'm just saying different wise. Amazon closed near the highs. Different. So somebody knew, I'm just saying NVIDIA closed near the highs. Obviously not as strong, but I'm saying, and SanDisk closed near the lows. So somebody knew that there was something going on there, I guess. Someone always knows. And now, SanDisk announced an offering. I think Western Digital is selling a block of their stock. It's down 15. They're selling it at, I think, 545. So this is 574. And then this is, what's this? This is 5. This isn't 510. Where's 510? This is 540. And I think the block's at 545. So maybe, if it gets down to here and you were looking to be a buyer, it could be a good spot. But ultimately yesterday, if you were trading it actively, listen, if you're in a swing trade and you've been in it above the 8-day this entire time, yes, it did lose the 8-day a little bit, but chances are you might still be there and you're probably in it from maybe even 284. You might have a shot to buy it there. And if you've never owned SanDisk, maybe that's a spot to buy it for you. Let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. Gary says ASTS was solid yesterday. That's true. Apple was solid yesterday. So let's talk about ASTS. Held 79.89 again. Okay, so if you got rid of it with the red dog reversal 124, and by the way, you have red dog reversal sells and buys. It's just the opposite. So what happened here? Pushed above 124, squeezed, came back below. You had to get rid of some. You had to get rid of some of your size or get out. Then you had the lower high here. But anyway, it was solid yesterday. I should have I should have bought it. I didn't. I was at the end of the day. I actually wasn't on my seat. I had to go watch my son play basketball. Milburn did win the conference championship. They are 21-4. Congratulations to him. Start your kids early. Anyway, so yes, this also, pretty good take home if you took it home. This 79 is proving to be a good floor. Then maybe at some point it gets into this gap. But again, these things they're all in rebuild mode. They're all below moving averages. They all need time. You got to take your trades. I did say also yesterday ONDS perked up. That's true. I was talking to, if you sold into the strength here when it broke the 8-day. It closed well. Look at this. Look at this nice candle in ONDS. That wasn't the same candle in SanDisk. Look at that candle. I'm just saying there's little things you have to look at as a trader. ONDS did close well. What's it doing today? I bet you it's up 70 cents. Let's see. ONDS is up 30 cents. Anyway, so it's in rebuild mode, and there is some room here. There's some room if it wants to get back towards 12. So there were some things you could have picked away at. Congrats to the Milburn boys. Thank you very much. Yeah, Chase Plotkin, give him kudos. If anyone knows who Chase Plotkin is, he's a senior. He just got the all-time Milburn scoring record. So 2,000-point players. So this is one of those special teams where if you want to come next Friday at Milburn, we're playing the second best team in the state in the second round. Hopefully we get there, and that should be a fun game. Full house, one of those high school movies. We'll see. Hopefully it works out for them. Anyway. Apple was strong yesterday, true. Apple, nice little day yesterday. If it got stopped out at 271, maybe you saw the strength, maybe you saw it take out 260, you bought some. Apple, it's probably not going to run away, but all the King's horses came out for it. It's up 90 cents, and Dan Ives was talking about it. Listen, I'd love Apple to be better. I love when Apple's in play. I love being able to buy dips. So yesterday you did have a day, and we'll see how much. But Apple kind of stole a little bit of the overnight. I'm just saying, like, someone's like, well, why is Amazon a better overnight? Well, it wasn't up as much, a little bit more oversold in the video. But again, you could add a bunch of them on. Thanks, Mick. But anyway, are we going to war with Iran? Yesterday, they said that we had a framework with Iran, and we're going to hear back in 2 weeks. And now there's some reports out of Israel saying that it's closer to some kind of conflict, but we'll see. Walmart earns okay. I haven't been. Walmart has been crazy to the upside. I haven't been in Walmart, so yes, no matter, even if it's a Dow stock, you have to be careful. Earnings are coming out, and it's definitely priced for some perfection. RDW, I haven't been in RDW for a while. RDW, we had a great run to start the year. I was buying the Cajonis out of it at 810, trading it all the way up, and then I sold a lot into 14.55, and right here I got stopped out. I don't think I've been in this since $12. So if you got out when the 8-day broke, if you got out when this trend broke, which is what you do as an active trader who trades for a living, hey, you had a little red dog reversal down here. So maybe there's some room back up into all the moving averages like everything else, but this needs time, just like all the little concept names. I didn't do as well with Joby. Joby, yes, I got beat up on Joby. That one was tough. Joby, I kind of anticipated, I bought a lot into this move. I added, sold a bunch, thought I could accumulate in here and be cute, didn't get out there, and I wound up getting out, in this gap that when that news came out. So anyway, this needs to rebuild. It's got a little bit of a, it's got a spot here to rebuild and go. I do think this stock is going to have a nice future. So will the whole sector of aviation, but for now it's just not. So you got to do when the market's just not there for it. Since October, the market for super growth has been to the downside. You have to know what market you're in. But anyway, let's move forward. Where are we? Dash. You know what? Someone's like, Red Dog, you haven't talked about Dash in 2 months. I'm like, because it's a piece of mierda. You know what mierda means? No, it technically broke. Thank God. That's why we use technicals. Dash was absolutely fantastic when we were trading it and it was on the go-to list and I had it as a power play, and then it broke. Ever since this 250 top here, it broke, and if you didn't get out here, this is when it changed right around there. Boom, done. Okay, and then I tried it in here, got out on this day, and I haven't looked at it since. Holy cow. I think it's coming out with earnings, today or tomorrow. Just goes to show you time and place. right? This is when it was special. This one was above all the moving averages, and it changed right here. Is when Dash said no longer dashing, but that's your job in the market to see that, So what now? I don't know. It seems oversold enough, and that it comes out in earnings, and maybe you can get a bounce. It's at 162. Somebody said to me, Red Dog, why don't you, get involved in Dash? I'm like, you know what? From down here, you probably can get a trade, but it's really, really broken. Someone asked about, what? Coin is acting a little bit better. I said that yesterday. It's definitely a little trickier. Crypto hasn't been fantastic, but I think down here, coin's still worth a trade. Showed a little relative strength. You want me to show you Bitcoin before I go? Bitcoin before I go. Here it is. Not acting special, but not really dragging. It's still in this range somewhat. That's not special. In the range somewhat is not special, but it's not leading us down for now. So above 65, some people think, hey, maybe it's going to wake up, that you're going to get some kind of crypto bill and it'll get better. Ultimately, I think you could still put 2, 3, 4% of your longer term pie chart in Bitcoin or Ethereum. Same way with gold and silver on top of your equities and your bonds. But if you trade this for a living to make money for February, not quite proven. And if you did it the last bunch of months, you've definitely not happy about it. I lost money trying this too. I think I was long here again and made some money and then got stopped out. Anyway, there's a time and place for everything in trading, especially if you're an active trader. The key is to know your time frame, know what you're doing. If you watch this and you're watching this, and someone's like, hey, Red, I just woke up and, I don't see the 630 Club. It's not a playing on demand on X. You could go to T3 Live, the YouTube channel, or if you subscribe to Red Dog Mindset, I'm reposting the what's it called, the link to everyone that watches the 25-20, because I do believe the 25-20 match with the 630 Club gets your mind right to win the morning, to win the day, so you can execute with confidence and do this day in, day out. But anyway, for today, does the early strength hold or not? If you're long some spies, I came in long some spies. I've already trimmed some. One of my rules, I always trim and trail when a gap is in my favor. I could always get bigger. Once again, Alpha Team that gets to see when I put this on yesterday, I had none of these on yesterday, and now I come in today, and that's pretty cool. It gives me a little head start. I've trimmed a little Amazon, and I've trimmed a little spies. So if I haven't trimmed anything, all it does is show it overnight. So that's how the VTF works. Same thing with iron, did nothing there. And now listen, it's not, I don't have 20 longs and I'm all of a sudden, boom, going to Sizzler today. It's just, it was just good to adjust, good to say, hey, you know what, little red dog reversal, support held. Now we see, if all of a sudden we open up and it, and it can't, and it fails. These are the sell rules. Remember sell rules, always sell into strength. So today's a little strength, you sell some, manage it if it doesn't hold a prior high. And then if it goes red, all of a sudden this could be a topping tail, boom, down. And then, it still looks bearish. But then you could have carved out money in a bearish tape trading the range, because that's what we do. Anyway, it's Wednesday. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Hopefully Twitter figures itself out. If not, we always figure out the workaround. That's what we do. We just figure it out. We move our feet and we stay positive and we live life, because you know why you want to live life? Because you're dead a long time and every day above ground is a good day. So appreciate that. See you guys later.